Jim Klauck here on the Beach Money Podcast. I hope you're all having a great day. And today we're going to learn more about how you can live a beach money lifestyle. That's what this podcast is all about. And I'd like to thank my good friend Jordan Adler for allowing me to host this program. On the show today, Sarah and Tony Zolecki. How you doing, guys?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to have you here. I want to hear your story, but everybody else does too. From what I understand, pretty much from the time you were teenagers plus, you've been involved in growing businesses that most people could only dream of. And correct me if I'm wrong before you get into your story here. You never really had a real job. Like people have corporate jobs or they're a realtor and they do this and that, and then they might get into something later. You started pretty much when you were very young.
Yeah, I mean, I had a part-time job. I mean, I was a nanny, but again, that's, I mean, nothing against nannies, but it was like a glorified babysitter, right? So I was doing that while I was going to college part-time and then started my own business at 21. So other than that, this is all I know. And, it's been great. It's been an awesome experience.
Yeah, and for me, I grew up on the south side of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and back in the 80s, my mom had the first taco truck. Now we see these food trucks everywhere. Wow. But I got my entrepreneur fire from working on my mom's taco truck and selling tacos late night in downtown Milwaukee. And then that's when I found network marketing, probably about 3 years after that.
Yeah, and you guys are what I would consider extremely successful in network marketing, and congratulations on that. I know it took a lot of long work. You're an overnight success, 25 plus years. So it takes time for this. And I'm telling everyone this who's watching this, network marketing is something that can be extremely rewarding, but it's not necessarily easy. It can be simple, but it's not necessarily easy. Over time, it gets easier. You guys have been doing it for 25 plus years and you're reaping the rewards, but you're helping other people as well, teaching them how to do what you've done and how to be successful in this world.
Mm-hmm. I think that's probably the part that is so fulfilling for us now is just the contribution and the paying it forward. Because I think of all the years that we struggled and going through the school of hard knocks and growing and trying to figure this business out, along with like trying to figure out who are we, right? Because we were still kids then. Like I look at all of that, and now where we are, I think my heart is so much about, man, if we can give anybody just little tidbits or experiences or things that we learned or good guidance to help them maybe bypass some of that stuff that we had to go through to help them have faster success. Like that's a part that I just love about our profession.
Yeah. And I think too, is most people get into network marketing and they just want to make some money. And, they're just like, I need to get my initial investment back and create a story fast. And it's all about how much can I make? How much can I make? And once you get the money game out of the way, especially in the space we're in, and you think about impacting and serving and really changing the world in a positive way and pouring, your gifts into people, that's where you really start to build community, team, culture, and you'll have more money if you do it the right way than you know what to do with in our space. But again, most people see it from, I just need to make some money. Who can I sell this stuff to?
Well, it is a team sport. There is no one who's made millions of dollars by themselves in network marketing. There's a famous guy who I got to meet once, which I was really excited about, Zig Ziglar. And you may have heard of Zig Ziglar. Great guy. Mm-hmm. And Zig had a very famous quote, and it goes something like this, which I'm sure you know. If you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Do you find that's true?
Yeah, 100%. I think in the beginning, though, I think for most of us when we get started, though, we just want to get somebody in our team, right? Or we just want to get in profitability. And so I think a lot of times that's a little bit bigger vision. And I think in the beginning, like you're very focused on, I don't know, I think bottom line, like I think about when you were talking about like the contribution and helping other people. I agree with that, but I think I had to grow into that. I mean, I don't know, for me personally, it took me a while, but I'll tell you, I think once I figured that piece out, then I think my business became a lot more, I don't know, I was more in the flow. And I found that that a lot more people were attracted to my business. I had a lot more people to talk to. I had many other people that started saying yes, because I ended up, really kind of changing my perspective, being in that state of giving and contribution. I feel like that was one of the key principles for me that did turn my business around.
And it's the law of attraction. And so, it's really interesting. When we go down the road in any endeavor, the success comes from what we do and how we do it and how we treat others. Network marketing is a people business. I mean, there's no, it doesn't matter what you're selling in it, what the product is, the service or product, it's a people business. And if you can get the right people working with you, it's rewarding for you because you help them grow. And ultimately for you guys, it's very beneficial to you as well. And can you talk a little bit about the business that's been built up 25 plus years, kind of how it started and, where you are today, because it's quite an impressive story.
Yeah, it's interesting because, when we first got in the profession, I was 19 and, I had to figure out people skills, leadership skills, communication skills, all the things that it takes to build what we do here every single day. But what I invested in was myself. I invested in learning the skills and going to trainings back then. I was at a training every weekend, learning, how to do this business the right way. Because I always say, if you do this business the right way, there's not a better business in the whole wide world. But most people that join our profession, it's a lottery ticket mentality. Oh, I'll just go and see if I can get a couple people in and hopefully I can go to the top and make all this money. Or they just think that it's going to be, a walk in the park. And then you really start, getting tested. And I think for me, I really learned the right mindset early, what I call the millionaire mindset. I learned mental toughness. I took a lot of no's. I, learned how to, tell the story better, how to handle an objection. But all this stuff comes with you doing the business. So it's not, perfect activity. It's more imperfect activity and, really getting out there and doing it. And I really started getting good at the business probably about 5 years in. So I look at my commitment to go, okay, I'm going to give this, as long as, I can, to create my story and create my success. But one thing I knew is that it wasn't going to happen overnight. And the better I would get at it, the better results I would get. And then, you start making money and you're like, holy cow, this is great. I remember when I got to 10 grand a month, I was 27 years old. Yeah. And I thought that was, I thought I was rich at that point. But I knew that, man, I was just warming up, and then you just keep getting better and better and better. And then, in the business we're in today, we make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. But I mean, we run a big team, and then comes into leadership and really, taking this organization and going, okay, what's the lever I need to pull this month so that we can, add more sales and add more customers and, create more stories from the bottom up, because that's really what it's all about.
And the moral of the story is you are running a marathon. Some people will come into the business running the sprint. They don't see the marathon. Not sure what you guys actually saw when you first started, but there's no question after some time in, you're like, this is a marathon. And 25 years later, you consistently win that marathon. You're conditioned, you understand the race, you've built a business, and you have a lot of people in the organization. How many people do you have in the organization now?
We have over 2 million customers in the team and about 100,000 people that are distributors that promote this with us every month.
Now, I don't know a lot about your industry, but I would say that's a pretty big group.
Yeah. We're blessed, we're super grateful, but what I always tell people is that, we're proud of ourselves, because there was a million times we could have quit. There was a million different challenges and obstacles. We could have thrown the towel in and said, enough's enough. I mean, our first 2 companies went out of business, one after 6 years, the other one after 8 years. We think about, okay, 14 years of giving it all we, had inside of us at that moment, at that time. and those businesses failed. And instead of saying, oh, the profession doesn't work, or man, I'm giving it up, or I'm going to go do something else, we said, you know what? Let's go find another business. Let's look for these things today that we kind of know are sweet spots to finding what I call the perfect business. And let's go work our tail off and create that, success again.
So, Sarah, tell me what you would say to someone who says, I want to get involved in network marketing. Do you ask them why? Do you ask them what they want to do to help others, or to make money for themselves, or to sell a certain type of product? What's the answer to that?
You know what? I think the answer is different for everybody. If they're interested in getting involved in network marketing, my first thing would be like, what has you looking, right? And a lot of times, I work with a lot of moms, right? We've got 2 little kids, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. And so I have a lot of moms that they love being a mom, and a lot of them are stay-at-home moms too. But at the end of the day, they still feel like they kind of have this little empty hole where they're like, I want to do something that I can be like, have the sense of accomplishment, and I did it, and I want to bring something to the table too, right? And so I think for them, they a lot of times do network marketing because of the community and the social aspect and being a part of something. And so I think, for them, that's a little bit different. And some people want to make some part-time money. Some people they're looking for quality of time. You know what I mean? Like I have people that join my business that are like, I'm tired of somebody else raising my kids. And nothing against nannies. I was a nanny, right? But they're like, I want to be there, and I don't want to miss any more of my kids' soccer games. I want to be there when they have their first, word or their first walk or whatever it may be, right? So I think that, for everybody, it's a little bit different. That's really the beauty of network marketing. Not everyone gets in network marketing because they're like, I want to become a millionaire. Like that. For me personally, I was never driven by money. Like I fell in love with the people. I walked in and I was like, this feels good. You know what I mean? And I was like, I like this. Like all they ask me is they're like, Sarah, do you want to get better? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, you're in. Like, I loved that. Like I was really motivated by that. So, so I think for people that are looking, like it's so beautiful, because whatever you're typically looking for, I really feel that network marketing can fill that, for you, whatever that may be. And so I think that's what's so cool too, is the diversity of the people that are part of the network marketing profession is so vast. And if you sat them down and probably asked each one of them, why are you involved? You probably would get a different answer. And I think that that's what's so cool, is that our business really does look like the world. And I think that's why it's so attractive to people, because one way or another, they feel like they can relate, or they feel similar, or they feel like that's can be part of their tribe. And I just feel like that's such a really cool thing that the profession has.
Tony, what comes up a lot, I hear, is the word freedom, the F word. Do you think that that's true? Does that ring true, where a lot of people say, you know what, I just want to have some freedom. I'd rather have time than money. I know I need so much money. We do live in America, right? But how much do we really need? And something we tend not to be able to get back, and we realize this more as we mature through life, is time. So does the word freedom come up a lot?
Freedom comes up all the time. And, you have to earn freedom in the business we're in, and it usually takes discipline. It takes you, working a plan and doing the activity, right? Because you got to do the work here to create that freedom. But I've never seen a business like the network marketing profession that you can have time freedom, financial freedom, travel freedom. You can do what you want, when you want, with who you want. You can travel the world. You can, see places that are some of the most beautiful places all over the world that you can get to. And a lot of times you're building a business there, or, when you create a big team, you have teams that pop up all over the world. Like we have a team in 30 different countries around the world. And, if we're not here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we're in Europe, or walking the streets of Paris, or, in Belgium, or, on our way on a bullet train somewhere else, or, in Australia, in India. And I mean, that kind of stuff, it's just really fun. And it's one thing to, have it on your dream board or, watch it on TV or a lifestyle channel or in a magazine, but to actually live it with the people you love and care about, your kids, your friends, your family, that is what I call the ultimate gift.
You guys are living the dream. And don't take this wrong way when I say it, because it sounds, kind of wrong, but you don't know any better. You didn't have a corporate job for 20 or 30 years. These people are in well, some feel they're in prison. Some love what they do, but some people are like, I get 2 days off a week, maybe. Now with computers and smartphones, everyone is working longer hours because they can be found. They just can't hide anymore.
Right.
And maybe at 65 or 70, they can go on that Alaskan cruise. In the meantime, you guys have been cruising the world and flying around. And a lot of people see the lifestyle behind a successful network marketing person, or duo in your case, and say, well, that's not real. It's one of those things. It's like, it's like a unicorn that doesn't really exist, right? But it can. And you guys spend time with people who live this way, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think too, again, we've been doing this 25 years, so it's like, we've gotten good at our craft, like anybody, like doing anything, after 25 years, I hope you're pretty good at it. Right. So, I think too, people don't realize that we sacrifice as well. We, we're an entrepreneur like anybody else, and we figure out our schedules and how to work. And we have different seasons in our life too, right? So we have seasons that, are kind of like what we call grind seasons, and then there's seasons that we don't work a lot. And then there's, so I think, we kind of have figured that out as far as like, what the rhythm is of our business, like what do we do and what do we do when we work, you know what I mean? And so we've kind of, I feel that we've done a good job of, really having that piece figured out. But again, too, I feel like the dream that we live though too is also because we have an amazing team, and we have a team that is, they know how to lead too. And they do a great job of, having conversations and getting sales and getting people started and building teams and doing all that. So, so a lot of the stuff that people see of us, I mean, my gosh, we're so grateful because it has so much to do with the team that's put in place. So, I think that we sacrificed a lot. Like we earned it. I mean, we've earned it. And I don't know, I think it's never too late either to have a dream. I think the sad thing that I do see in, people that don't do network marketing or side business or whatever it is that they kind of just shelved their dreams, you know what I mean? And they just have been like, well, that sounded great when I was 30 years old, or that sounded great when I was 25. And they just kind of give up on it. And they're kind of like, well, I mean, it's a famous phrase. I hate it. Is if people are like, well, it is what it is. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, no, it really doesn't need to be. It is what it is. Like, you can like do something. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was probably one of the greatest things that my dad ever instilled in me is he's like, you know what? If you don't like what you do, he's like, you can quit and you can go find something that you're passionate about. And so he always encouraged myself and my siblings where he's like, man, I don't care what you do, but you got to be passionate. Otherwise, like, what is the point of what you're doing?
What's the point of going through life if you're in prison, as I say, just going to work for the end to get money? That's the only reason why you're at work. And you're really helping a company build their business, make a profit. You're pretty much expendable today, and you're not building any equity for yourself. So let's talk about how you can help others, because that's what you do. People can plug into your system, right? Where you can teach them how to be successful and take a shortcut. Because you had mentioned earlier that you've learned so much over the 25 plus years. These people who are entering today shouldn't have to go and make all those mistakes.
Yes, please don't.
Yeah. So
please don't. Yes.
So people can plug into it. And in the notes of this section, everybody, I'm going to have links to contact them so you guys can learn more from the experts? What can they expect when they plug in?
Well, I think for us, like, network marketing has evolved, right? Where for a long time, it was definitely like offline, right? People would get together face to face, and people still do that, and that's great. But obviously the online world is massive, right? You can reach millions and millions of people all over the world. And so we actually have pivoted our entire business over the last 10 years where everything that we do, I shouldn't say everything, but 90% of what we do is all built through social media. And so a lot of times people are on social media, but they have no idea how to actually build a business. And so we teach people how to do that. What are all the different ways to generate leads on social media, and how do you have quality conversations, and how do you move them through an online system to get them to say yes and to help them launch their business. So just a lot of these things that, especially when you're new, you have a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. But you just need a little bit of direction, right? You have all this energy, and everyone's like, now what, right? And so we actually will help put you in a vehicle, and that can help give you just some really good guidance to, number one, come out of the gate running, but also number two, help you create a success story right away.
And I think too, that's why we have more people winning in our business today than we ever had in 25 years, because people are more busy today than they ever been.
Yeah.
And people want to be able to grab their phone, grab their tablet, their computer, and you can literally run as big as a business you want to run right from your phone, right from your home, or right from taking the kids to soccer, or, making dinner for the family, right? You can do it all right here. And we've created what I call the perfect online system, so people can get started, and for 10 hours a week, they can scale an income as big as they want to scale. And it's really fun to watch that.
Yeah. And of course, I'm very familiar with that because I do podcasts, right? So I understand being out there on social media and people being able to hear you and see you, and you guys can teach that way. And there's no question today with the technology, there's so much leverage, and you can touch so many more people really 24/7, which is really nice. Sarah and Tony, thank you so much for joining me today. We could talk for a long time. We'll have to get you back on the program some other time.
Sounds awesome. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Jim, appreciate it. And so excited to be here.